name's Kat Miller, and we'd like to welcome you to Open Circle. Please turn off your cell phones, and I will remember to help remind you to turn them on when I leave. Wow. Can I say something about that? Sure. We now have an herb garden, a medicinal herb garden. If you go through the little secret garden spot over here, you can pick medicinal herbs. This is lemongrass, parsley, comfrey,
or 2 oreganos, basil. Just standard stuff.
Isn't that nice? Thank you so much for doing that.
May I say something?
Yes.
This is your garden, by the way. Which one is
me?
Okay. Oh,
Me.
This is your garden. We started it because we wanted to recapture we wanted to recapture the age-old tradition of medicinal healing with plants here. So LCS has been kind enough to let us borrow their ex-kidney-shaped pool filled with construction rubble, and that's where the garden was planted. So these are some of the most hardy, rustic plants on the planet, and we have some of them here for you to enjoy. If you feel like you'd like to gather some for cooking, which I'm going to do today, please feel free. This is one of the gardens that LCS is offering you here.
They don't want to hear my heavy breathing. Hey, how often does it happen, you know? Come on. Be kind here. Okay, you've turned off your cell phones. I'm going to remind you to turn them on at the end. And today's Open Circle mission statement is going to be read by Blue.
This way?
Either one. Or in the middle.
The Open Circle mission statement. Open Circle provides a supportive environment to gather for social interaction and to improve our understanding of ourselves, our community, and our world. Presentations span a wide range of intellectual, cultural, physical, and spiritual topics. We do not necessarily agree with the ideas and philosophies of our presenters, but we encourage you to listen with an open mind and form your own opinions.
Thank you. If you're not on our email sign-up list and would like to be, you can do so under the tree. We have a clipboard. Or you can go onto our fabulous website, opencircleajijic.org, and you can sign up there. And while you're there, you can look at a bunch of stuff. You can look at presenters past and future. You can look at some photos. And you can also have a way to get our past, what are these, talks. And Blue Raskin is going to talk to us. He's on the steering committee. He works with the website, does such a beautiful job. And he's going to talk to us about what's happening on Wednesday.
Following the news about an herbal garden, that's going to be hard to top, but I'll do my best. So I also have good news. It's right around the corner, and it's coming to computer screens everywhere. They told me I could. Okay. Coming to computer screens everywhere. Wednesday the 1st, that's this coming Wednesday, the Open Circle updated website will be brought up, and it'll provide easy access for streaming video presentations. Now for some details. Recent videos, numbered 336 and above, are available for unlimited streaming at a cost of 100 pesos. And the payment is through to the videographer for the space on the cloud and processed through PayPal. Streaming access will require a Gmail email address, and that's a Google Drive security feature. Now, Sunday morning attendees like yourselves, you'll be able to order video streaming directly from Brad, and he's the friendly and talented guy sitting up there with all his digital toys. He's over there. Videos numbered 1 through 135, they're becoming available for unlimited viewing at no cost on YouTube. And the website address will be found on the videos page of the updated website. It's basically youtube.com/chapaladrone. Now, Sunday morning attendees only, folks like yourselves. If you prefer a DVD to streaming, you will be able to do this in making the arrangements through Brad. But note, DVDs will no longer be offered on the website, just streaming access. So that's pretty much the news from this end on the website, and Brad and myself will be available if you have questions afterwards. So thank you for your attention. Happy streaming at opencircleajijic.org, beginning this coming Wednesday. Thank you.
That's pretty exciting to be able to stream them. We'd like to welcome all of you here for the first time. So if you're here for the first time, if you would just stand up, we'd love to acknowledge you. Please stand up. Nice to have you here. Welcome. Unless you brought cars, then we don't really, no, not so much. Just saying, a little thing about cars we're a little sick of. Let's see. 2 women meeting up in heaven. The first woman, hi Wanda. Second woman, hi Sylvia. How'd you die? First woman, I froze to death. Second woman, how horrible. First woman, it wasn't so bad after I quit shaking from the cold. I began to get warm and sleepy and finally died a peaceful death. What about you? Second woman, I died of a massive heart attack. I suspected that my husband was cheating, so I came home early to catch him in the act. But instead, I found him all by himself in the den watching TV. First woman, so what happened? Second woman, I was so sure there was another woman there somewhere that I started running all over the house. I ran into the attic and searched, and down into the basement. Then I went through every closet and checked under all the beds. I kept this up until I had looked everywhere, and finally I became so exhausted that I keeled over and with a heart attack and died. First woman, too bad you didn't look in the freezer. We would both still be alive. Men want the same thing from their underwear that they want from women. A little bit of support and a little bit of freedom. How we doing here? Okay. Gosh, I got some good ones. I guess you'll have to come back next week. What's my words of wisdom for today? Okay. Be decisive. Right or wrong, make a decision. The road of life is paved with flat squirrels who could not make a decision. Thank you for your generosity. We appreciate it. Keeps us a viable, happy organization. Next week's presentation, Surprising Discoveries from the Unconscious, presented by Sandy Brighton. Brain science has increasingly demonstrated that your conscious mind, the part of your mind that you think of as self, is just a boat floating on the vast, dark ocean of the unconscious. It's becoming increasingly clear that the unconscious, in addition to controlling our body functions and storing our memories, is the source of our thoughts, emotions, perceptions, decisions, and actions. Most of the time it works beautifully, but when something goes wrong, it can result in problems like depression, OCD, and PTSD. In this talk, you're going to hear about some of the latest discoveries in the neuroscience of the unconscious, as well as innovative therapies being developed for when things go wrong. Sandy is from Northern California. Her background is in software development, but she's always had a fascination with the computer between our ears. She combines her love of brain science and public speaking to bring us this talk next week. So please join us for that. Sounds fascinating. And this morning's Sensory Moment is with Latika.
Morning, everyone. Sit comfortably tall in your chair. And if you like, you can close your eyes. It's a good idea, actually, to close your eyes and draw your attention to your breath. Allow your breath to flow softly and quietly, simply watching it without trying to change it in any way. Feel and visualize the breath flowing in through your nostrils, down through your throat and into your lungs, receiving the breath as a pure form of beauty or a gift from the universe or the divine. As easily and naturally as the breath flows into your body, let it flow back out just as effortlessly. A sense of giving back a gift we all share. Allow your mind to become completely absorbed in the flow of the breath, noticing how and where it arises and how it feels along the way. When your mind wanders away from the breath, gently bring it back to the steadiness, the rhythmic flow of your inhale and exhale. Staying fully absorbed in the breath and allowing it to continue flowing freely. Now notice the natural pauses between each inhale and each exhale. Notice the natural quieting and stilling of the mind that happens when you are empty of breath. Allowing that sense of quiet to ride along with the following inhale. At the crest of your inhale, feel a sense of this rising quiet expand into a feeling of openness and spaciousness in your mind, and just as simply let the breath flow out. Stay with it, continuously coming back to the feeling of your thoughts as though enveloped in the breath, at one with the breath as it flows in and out of your body. Now, take a long, slow, deep breath in and let it go slowly and open your eyes.
I was thinking that the parrots were representing the chattering mind. This week's presentation, previews of 5 plays presented by Rosann Balbontin. Potter Productions, a not-for-profit organization, presents today's previews of its 5 upcoming staged lakeside readings. Rosann Balbontin founder and producer of Potter Productions, taught drama for 20 years in California before retiring to pursue acting and directing full-time. She appeared in several productions in California and also wrote 3 plays and a screenplay. Rosann has been active in the Ajijic theater community for the past 3 years. She's going to introduce all the plays and all the actors who are with us today. Please join me in welcoming Rosann.
Thank you, Kat. And thank you for joining us this morning as we present a preview of 5 staged readings that Potter Productions will mount over the next 7 months. Playing several roles in the following 5 plays are Don Boudreau, Marianne Gibbard, Graham Miller, Kathleen Morris, Michael Warren, and myself, Rosann Balbontin. I can be quiet. Next March, we present the delightful Irish gem Chapala, written by Christian O'Reilly. Romance is a distant memory for 2 lonely animal lovers living in Dublin. When forlorn Dan and his dog Chapala cross paths with the amiable Betty and her 19 cats, an unexpected spark begins a warm and gentle story about 2 people rediscovering the importance of human companionship. Graham Miller introduces Dan to us.
How are you this morning, chap? Are you hungry? He looks at me as if to say, does a dog shit in the park? Weetabix or chum, I offer him. Another look. Weetabix. Are you sure? A dirty look. How about a bit of both? A bit of a grin. That's what you meant all along, I suppose. I mashed the 2 of them in. Weetabix and the chum, with a bit of milk, but no sugar. Bad for the teeth, the vet said. Then I sit down at the piano and I watch his face. The goblin stops and he looks at me, warning me. I lift the lid, the ears prick up. Then I start playing. And Chop Patty all of a sudden howls and barks. And I try to laugh, because laughing's what me and Martha used to do when she was here, when she was lying on my bed watching me. And she'd howl too. And I'd join in, and there'd be nothing but howling and laughing out of the 3 of us. But Chapati's still laughing now, howling, and she's not here, and I try to laugh. I try to find it funny like I promised her to, but I can't. I just can't. It's like me funny bone's been amputated. All right, chap. Oh, he keeps barking. All right, chap. Chapati howls. All right, chap. He looks out from under the bed. I'm sorry, chap. I'm sorry. Come here to me. So I get down on my knees and I look under the bed. He looks at me for a moment, not sure why I've changed. But then he trots out and I stroke his ears and the tail starts wagging again, banging against the legs of the piano. I close the lid and we eat our breakfast in silence.
And Kathleen Morris introduces Betty.
I opened the front door and some windows to freshen the place up. Good morning, Betty. Rise and shine. I've landed with a ham. It's sitting here on the kitchen table, waiting to be cut up into little pieces for her ladyship. It's getting very embarrassed. I've the newspaper as well. It's sitting beside the ham waiting for the crossword to be done. It's getting very cross. I hear a bit of a groan as I'm putting the kettle on. What's that, Peggy? I can't hear you. All I can hear is some old hag groaning at me when I know she's well able to speak. Then I hear a thud on the floor, so I go and investigate. I get a slight smell when I reach the door. It gets stronger when I open it. I look in and she looks back at me tearfully and says, I want to die! I want to die! I pick up the glass she's thrown onto the floor and the teeth that have fallen out of it. And as I wash them at the wash basin, I ask her, what would poor Prudence do if she wasn't around to feed her? Poor Prudence, who's lying there at your feet, purring away out of politeness with her poor stomach empty. You'd feed her. You'd feed her. No, I wouldn't, I say as I plop the teeth back into the glass. I've enough cuts to feed, and the cut union says it's full. If it wasn't for you, Prudence would starve to death. Come on. We'll get you out of bed. How are you this morning? She tells me I'm a cold-hearted bitch. And I say, yes, absolutely I am. And don't your teeth look better in the glass than they do rolling around on that dirty floor? They'd look even better in your mouth if you took the notion to get up. Will I give you a hand? She pushes me away and says she's well able to manage. I know you are, my love. I know you are. She lets me help her out of bed and into the bathroom. I go back to the bedroom and open the window. I have fresh sheets in the airing cupboard. Prudence stretches her paws and yawns at me and sniffs the air. Good girl, I say as I start to strip the bed. Now get off that bed and be demanding. We make a good team, Prudence and me. I've got my job, and she's got hers.
Chapati comes to Ajijic on March 11th and 17th, which just happens to be St. Patrick's Day. For our February show, Mark Twain puts a new and humorous spin on the Bible with his Diaries of Adam and Eve.
Monday. This new creature with the long hair is a good deal in the way. It's always hanging around and following me about. I don't like this. I'm not used to company. I wish it would stay with the other animals.
I followed it around yesterday afternoon at a distance to see what it might be, but I was not able to make it out. I think it is a man. I had never seen a man, but it looked like one, and I feel sure that that is what it is. I realize that I feel more curiosity about it than about any of the other reptiles.
Tuesday. I get no chance to name anything myself. The new creature names everything that comes along. There is the dodo, for instance. Says the moment one looks at it, one sees that it looks like a dodo. It will have to keep that name, no doubt. Dodo. It looks no more like a dodo than I do.
We are getting along very well indeed. He does not try to avoid me anymore, which is a good sign. During the last day or two, I have taken all the work of naming things off his hands, and this has been a great relief to him, for he has not the gift in this skill and is evidently very grateful. Whenever a new creature comes along, I name it before he has time to expose himself by an awkward silence. In this way, I have saved him many embarrassments.
Wednesday. I wish it would not talk. It's always talking.
When I found out it could talk, I felt a new interest in it, for I love to talk. I talk all the day. I'm very interesting. But if I had another to talk to,
I could be twice as interesting.
Monday. The new creature says its name is Eve. That is all right. I have no objections. And it says it is not an it. It is a she. This is probably doubtful.
If this reptile is a man, it isn't an it, is it? That wouldn't be grammatical, would it? I think it would be he. I think so.
Tuesday. She is taken up with a snake now. The other animals are glad, for she was always experimenting with them and bothering them. And I am glad because the snake talks, and this enables me to get a rest. This morning I found the new creature trying to knock apples out of that forbidden tree. I advised her to keep away from the tree. She said she wouldn't. I see trouble.
I tried to get him some of those apples, but I cannot learn how to throw straight. They were forbidden, and he says I shall come to harm. But so I come to harm through pleasing him. Why shall I care for that harm?
Wednesday. I escaped last night and rode a horse all night as fast as he could go, hoping to get clear before the trouble would begin. But it was not to be. About an hour after sunup, as I was riding through a flowery plain where thousands of animals were grazing, slumbering, or playing with each other, all of a sudden they broke into a tempest of frightful noises, and in one moment every beast was destroying its neighbor. I knew what it meant. Eve had eaten that fruit, and death had come into the world.
When I look back, the garden is a dream to me. It was beautiful, surpassingly beautiful, enchantingly beautiful, and now it is lost, and I shall not see it any more.
I find she is a good deal of a companion. I see I should be lonesome and depressed without her, now that I've lost my property. Another thing, she says it is ordered that we work for a living. She will be useful. I will superintend.
The Diaries of Adam and Eve runs February 4th and 11th. In December, we present the Christmas classic, It's a Wonderful Life, which has been adapted into a live radio play by Joe Landry. Today, we meet aspiring angel Clarence and some of the residents of Bedford Falls, New York, US of A. Joseph, the superintendent of angels, summons Clarence, an apprentice angel.
You sent for me, sir?
Yes, Clarence. A man down on Earth needs our help.
Splendid. Is he sick?
No, worse. He's discouraged. At exactly 10:45 p.m. tonight, Earth time, that man will be thinking seriously of throwing away God's greatest gift.
Oh, dear, his life. Then I've only an hour to dress. What are they wearing now?
You will spend that hour getting acquainted with George Bailey.
Sir, if I should accomplish this mission, might I perhaps win my wings? I've been waiting over 200 years now, and people are beginning to talk.
What's that book you've got there?
The Adventures of Tom Sawyer, sir. I was reading it, and when you sent for me...
Oh, fine book. Excellent. Well, you do a good job with George Bailey, and we'll see about your wings.
Thank you, sir.
Now, if you're going to help George, you'll want to know a little something about him. Look, see the town?
Yes, a group of young boys sliding down a snow-covered hill and onto the ice. This is amazing.
Yippee!
Who's that?
That's your problem, George Bailey.
A boy?
That's him when he was 12, back in 1919. Something happens here you'll have to remember later on.
And here comes the scare baby, my brother, Harry Bailey.
I'm not scared.
Come on, Harry. Attaboy, Harry.
Yippee! Oh, help! Help!
Oh dear, Harry's fallen through the ice.
I'm coming, Harry. Make a chain, gang. A chain.
So his brother fell through the ice, but George saved him?
Yes, Clarence. And ever since, George has had a bad ear. All that icy water, you understand.
Bad ear, yes, sir.
The other event came a few months later. George took an after-school job at Old Man Gower's drugstore.
It's me, Mr. Gower. George Bailey.
You're late.
Yes, sir.
Hello, George. Hello, Mary.
Hello, Violet.
2 cents worth of shoelaces, Violet?
Oh, Mary was here first.
I'm still thinking.
Shoelaces?
Please, Georgie. I like him.
You like every boy.
What's wrong with that?
Here you are.
Bye, Georgie. See you later, Mary.
Made up your mind yet, Mary?
I'll take chocolate.
With coconuts?
I don't like coconuts.
You don't like coconuts? Say, brainless, don't you know where coconuts come from? Look at here. From Tahiti, Fiji Islands, the Coral Sea.
What's that you've got there? A new magazine. I never saw it before.
Of course you never. Only us explorers get it. I've been nominated for membership in the National Geographic Society. Well, let me get you your ice cream.
Is this the ear you can't hear on? George Bailey, I'll love you till the day I die.
I'm going out exploring someday. You watch, and I'm going to have a couple of harems, and maybe 3 or 4 wives. Wait and see.
I can't whistle. It's a Wonderful Life plays December 9th and 16th. Our October offering is Edgar Lee Masters' Spoon River Anthology, written in 1916. Over 70 residents of the cemetery in the fictional town of Spoon River relate their epitaphs in free verse, interspersed with original songs by Charles Aidman. First, we meet the Pantier family, introduced by schoolteacher Emily Sparks.
Only the chemist can tell, and not always the chemist, what will result from compounding fluids or solids. And who can tell how men and women will interact on each other, or what children will result? There was Benjamin Pantier and his wife, good in themselves, but evil towards each other. He, oxygen, she, hydrogen. Their son, a devastating fire.
Together in this grave lie Benjamin Pantier, attorney at law, and Nig, his dog, constant companion, solace, and friend. Down the road, friends, children, men and women, passing one by one out of life, left me till I was alone, with Nig for a partner, bedfellow, comrade in drinks. In the morning of life, I knew aspirations and glory. Then she, who survives me, snared my soul with a snare that bled me to death, till I, once strong of will, lay broken and indifferent, living with Nig in a room back of a dingy office.
I know that he told that I snared his soul with a snare which bled him to death. And all the men loved him, and most of the women pitied him. But Suppose you are really a lady and have delicate tastes, and loathe the smell of whiskey and onions, and the rhythm of Wordsworth runs through your ears, while he goes about from morning till night, repeating bits of that common thing.
Oh, why should the spirit of mortal be proud?
And then suppose you are a woman well endowed, and the only man with whom the law and morality permit you to have the marital relation is the very man that fills you with disgust every time you think of it, while you think of it, every time you see him. That's why I drove him away from home to live with his dog in a dingy room back of his office.
Under my jawbone is snuggled the bony nose of Nig. Our story is lost in silence. Go by, mad world.
Where is my boy? My boy, in what far part of the world? The boy I loved best of all in the school? I, the teacher, the old maid, the virgin heart, who made them all my children. Did I know my boy all right? Thinking of him as a spirit aflame, active, ever aspiring?
Well, Emily Sparks, your prayers were not wasted. Your love was not all in vain. I owe whatever I was in life to your hope that would not give me up, to your love that saw me still as good. Dear Emily Sparks, let me tell you the story. I passed the effect of my father and mother. The milliner's daughter made me trouble, and out I went in the world, where I passed through every peril known of wine and women and joy of life. One night, in a room in the Rue de Rivoli, I was drinking wine with a black-eyed cocotte, and the tears swam into my eyes. She thought they were amorous tears, and smiled for thought of her conquest over me. But my soul was 3,000 miles away, in the days when you taught me in Spoon River. And just because you no more could love me, nor pray for me, nor write me letters, the eternal silence of you spoke instead. And the black-eyed cocotte took the tears for hers, as well as the deceiving kisses I gave her. Somehow, from that hour, I had a new vision. Dear Emily Sparks.
Oh, my boy, boy for whom I've prayed and prayed in many a watchful hour at night. Do you remember the letter I wrote you of the beautiful love of Christ? And whether you ever took it or not, my boy, wherever you are, work for your soul's sake, that all the clay of you, all the dross of you may yield to the fire of you, till the fire is nothing but light. Nothing but light.
Next to speak are Ollie and Fletcher McGee, a married couple who are somewhat at odds.
Have you seen walking through the village a man with downcast eyes and haggard face? That is my husband, who by secret cruelty, never to be told, robbed me of my youth and my beauty, till at last, wrinkled and with yellow teeth, and with broken pride and shameful humility, I sank into the grave. But what think you gnaws at my husband's heart? The face of what I was, the face of what he made me. These are driving him to the place where I lie, in death. Therefore, I am avenged.
She took my strength by minutes. She took my life by hours. She drained me like a fevered moon that saps the spinning world. The days went by like shadows. The minutes wheeled like stars. She took the pity from my heart and made it into smiles. She was a hunk of sculptor's clay, and my secret thoughts were fingers. They flew behind her pensive brow and lined it deep with pain. They set the lips and sagged the cheeks and drooped the eyes with sorrow. My soul had entered in the clay, fighting like 7 devils. It was not mine, it was not hers. She held it, but its struggles modeled a face she hated, and a face I feared to see. I beat the window, shook the bolts, I hid me in a corner, and then she died and haunted me for life.
Spoon River Anthology is scheduled for October 14th and 21st. Next month, August, we present The Sisters Rosenzweig, a comedy written by Sarah Rule, which centers around sisters Sarah Good, Gorgeous Teitelbaum, and Finny Rosenzweig. In this scene, Jeffrey Duncan, prominent theater director, and on-again, off-again bisexual lover of Finny, greets her upon Finny's arrival from Bombay, India, at Sarah's London apartment.
Hello, Jeffrey.
Hello, my love. You know, the problem with you, Finny, darling, is that you just don't like women very much.
That's not true.
Of course it is, love. Think about it. Women make you feel competitive and insecure.
That's nonsense, Jeffrey.
It's all right, darling. You can't like everybody.
And I suppose that you, on the other hand, are open to people of all sexes, race, and color.
I am everyday people. Sly and the Family Stone, 1969.
Sarah says we should stop seeing each other. She says she and I should grow old together.
Fanny, my love, all you've talked about since you arrived here is Sarah. How guilty you feel that she was ill. How guilty you feel that she's alone. How much you love her. How much you can't bear to be around her. How much you want her praise. How little you care for her opinions.
That's not true.
All I know is that whenever you're around that woman, you tell me we have to stop seeing each other. My darling, we hardly ever do see each other. I'm always in rehearsal, and you're in Timbuktu half the year. It's a bloody brilliant relationship.
Oh my God, my life is stuck. I've forgotten the Italian for a window.
Very good. 3 Sisters, Act 3. Now, Fanny, darling, see how worthwhile it's been knowing me? If not for me, you'd still think that Uncle Vanya was a Neil Simon play about his pathetic uncle in the Bronx.
And now instead I've had a 3-year relationship with an internationally renowned director and bisexual.
You left out botanist. I read botany at Cambridge, and I also put that F betwixt your name. If not for me, you'd be plain and simple Penny Rosenzweig.
Thank you. I have your F to keep me warm.
For Christ's sake, Fanny. If you want to find unconditional love, have a baby. Adopt a red and fuzzy brood of them. Better yet, have artificial insemination. Hello, darling, this is Daddy. Say hello to your daddy. Or you could become a lesbian. Most of the really interesting women I know are lesbians.
Just tell me one thing. What do you still get out of this?
T-shirts from all around the world. Would I be sporting Sunset in Penang if not for you? I've been meaning to ask you, darling, where is Penang?
Malaysia. Somerset Maugham lived there.
This is what's so wonderful about dating a nice American Jewish girl. You're all so well-versed in British colonial history. Fanny, my love, trust me, I'm still very happy with you.
You wouldn't like to meet a nice man?
I meet nice men all the time. I'm a director.
I mean some Nice man for you to come home to.
I've already done that, my darling. And he left me for Rum Tum Tugger.
Who?
Jordan left me for that chorus boy from Cats.
Oh, but that was ages ago.
Exactly. And then I met you at the ballet. And Jordan became England's hottest flatware designer. He's soon to be knighted Sir Cutlery.
But what?
But what? Do you want to know if I have my eye on anyone in my show? Is it true what they say about the Scarlet Pimpernel? My darling, I am committed. I've signed exclusively with you. Have I told you I've been offered the animated Fawlty Towers? I could fit it in next season between the Duchess of Malfi and Oklahoma. On the other hand, my film career is nowhere near where it should be. Unfortunately, movies do mean enduring extended time in Los Angeles. Why don't you have your film capital somewhere else? Somewhere more civilized, like Des Moines.
Where?
Des Moines, Idaho.
It's Des Moines, and it's in Iowa. I'll see what I can do.
Fanny, my angel, I wish you knew what a gorgeous person you are.
My sister is gorgeous. I'm not.
My darling, I can't waste any more time listening to your negativity and self-criticism. You're becoming almost as self-absorbed as I am. Besides, I'm expecting 200 homeless people who live under Charing Cross Station to arrive here in just a few.
To arrive here? At Sarah's house?
Well, it's not all 200 of them, actually. It's closer to a small delegation, and I told them to be certain to ring the downstairs bell and not Sarah's.
That was thoughtful.
Thank you. Think about it, my darling. I have an idea to do this year's homeless benefit at the National as a sort of story theater. I want to hear their brilliant voices telling the simple human tale of their survival. The theater's in danger of becoming hopelessly elitist. What's that ringing?
The doorbell.
But that's not the downstairs bell.
No.
What should we do?
Let's invite your delegation to stay for Sarah's birthday party.
I can't allow these people into Sarah's house. They're desperate. They take things. They deserve to kill us for centuries of oppression.
Relax. Go downstairs. I'll tell them to meet you there.
Brilliant.
The Sisters Rosenzweig will show at LCS August 12th and 19th at 4 p.m. You can pick up a flyer with details on the bench under the tree or from one of us on your way out. Thanks for letting us share these theatrical bits with you. Watch for our notices in the Guadalajara Reporter and the El Ojo del Lago. Have a great day.